nuts and bolts in the late night sky. Tinker's paradise built in the shed. Grease Monkey keeps the gears in his head.
Hey guys, Grease Monkey 3 here. Coming to you another video about the off-road garden tractor project thing. So today we're at my apartment working on it out here because it's easier to work out here than traveling. But step one is getting these seats, winding them up, and making some brackets so I can bolt them up. I got some 3/8 bolts, and I have some brackets going into the frame rail so I can disconnect this from the chassis anytime I want. So I want to make sure that can happen. And that's just some simple like little brackets that come off of this tube out here, and then drill a hole right straight down, and then yeah, it'll be unboltable. So I'm gonna get to working on that and making another plate just like that one for this side for the second person seat. So okay guys, got the little brackets welded on all four corners, and then I drilled them out to 3/8 bolts so they fit in there. So nice and bolted on there, nice and solid. So now I can put the backrest on. It goes one right here and one goes right here. And then find out the angle because it can tilt. These things can tilt. So find out the angle I want, and now I'll just put a bolt wherever I want that bracket for adjustment. But I'm gonna keep those on the back of these. There's this bracket right here. I can adjust it wherever that is. So later on in the future, I can put like a lever to adjust the seat, how much it tilt back or forward. But for now, I'm just gonna put it where it feels comfy. Okay guys, got the seat up on there. Got the one bolt in on both sides, and then I put some spaces with a bolt going across to support that bar, so it can't rotate down. So that the position is, I like it. It's still got the nice curve and everything. And if I want to adjust it, I have to drill a new hole and just put it up in there. Have it too straight up once I start driving it. So they're gonna put the seat back on. It just slides, and then they got the two little pegs. I need to take a nut and put it on. So, and that goes right here. So yeah. Hey guys, just got done. This is the second seat working on. It didn't have a plate on this side, and now it do. So I just cut a piece of 3/16 plate. Should be thick enough. This had like the original one is about 1/8 inch. It's strong enough. So this is fine for one side. Yeah, welded it all nice all the way around. So time to lay it up in there and see where it fits, and then make some brackets to bolt this to the frame of the truck. Okay guys, so what I designed here is these little support brackets that come out about 6.5 inches. You got a little triangle piece there and triangle piece here for more support, and then the fender will rest on top of here. It will bolt up like it normally do, and then this little piece over here will be another support. A bolt go right through here to attach the bracket, just like this. So yeah, 2 bolts will go into this bar here, or it'll be back a little bit, but yeah. And then there'll be on the seat piece, I'm gonna have 2 pieces like this. These are over 1/4 inch thick pieces, like going like that across, 2 of them, one on both sides, and then I can bolt the seat to the frame separate, and it'll hold the fender as well. Okay guys, got it bolted up. I got 2 bolts on the back side, one there, the 3/8 bolts, And then I got a grade 10 hex bolt. It goes straight through underneath. They echo long because the fender got to go in between, and there's going to be spacers. So these are going to be about half inch. It's going to be a half inch up with the spacers, with the fender as well. So yeah, I'm going to be sandwiching the fender plus all these. So I'm gonna undo this now, put the fender on, drill some edit holes in the fender where it needs to line up in here, and then okay guys, got it bolted up. Got the one in the center and then two on the each side. They're all 3/8 bolts, but this is a hardened steel one here. And that got a spacer right there to space it off the frame so it's not even touching. It's just like a little bit. So close but not touching. And then back here I got a single washer right there, and then underneath I have a spacer up there because they got to keep it even with that. So yeah, that all supported, and you see how it's supported down and then across and then down into the subframe. So that should be nice and strong. So now we get the seat up there and bolted. Okay guys, got it bolted up. Just got some grade 5 bolts in it, and you can see how that arm works. So that's straight up. I like how you can just tilt it all the way back. But yeah, I'm gonna go both right there, and I'm gonna drill a hole about in there and put a bolt just to keep it straight up, because I want it straight up. If it stays, I want to show you guys, yeah, how it looks. Yeah. Okay guys, got the seat bolted on. Got this secured. Got that one, got 2 bolts on both sides to hold the bottom of the seat in. And then the bottom of the back of the seat is just wedged in there. That's how it happens. I did drill a hole and I put a bolt so it can't pivot for now, so it's straight up. But yeah, it's solid on there. Look at this. Yeah. So yeah, I do like with no holes drilled into this. Like these ones here got all the adjustments and that stuff from the old adjusters, but I like the smooth design. I might cut another piece of plate, like sheet metal or something, and tack it on here and make it, yeah, not so holy. So yeah, I'm gonna climb up there and see how. Okay guys, I made a couple brackets up. I made one from here, so I welded that on. And that just got a simple hex bolt, or like Allen key bolt going through and nice and tight. Then I'm working on the steps with the second person. The second person is like 4 inches, 5 inches higher, so I have to raise up the board up to here. These are just set in here. I've welded on some angle iron. Just some simple angle iron, perfectly straight. And I cut some grooves in the Acra floor. I got a floor pan, I guess. And that just slides under here. Yeah. Got that one on that side, and then I got the other one on the other side. And I went up there and I marked it out, and it was like, it worked good. So that what it is. I'm gonna have it. This area used to be over there, it's going up, but I put it in reverse because you're not gonna need it because your feet barely get over here. So yeah. So that's how it is right now. Drill 2 holes and put 2 bolts, and then that'll hold it good. Cause these floor pans are like 1/8 inch steel plate, so it's pretty thick. Next, after I bolt this up, I'm gonna work on the jack shaft in here. So I'm thinking running a piece of angle iron, heavier angle iron, about a couple inches off the frame, and then straight down to like tied in from the bottom of this to the top. So we get one piece here and then do the same on the front side. And then we can bolt up the pill block bearings on those, because we need a nice solid flat surface. Okay guys, I decided to do something else. I got these 1/8 inch steel plates, 7" by 7". I'm gonna put them here and weld them to weld them across the bottom, weld it across the top, and then both floorboards will become one. It only takes 4 bolts and the whole thing comes off. So I think I'm gonna do that because it's like straight, it like match up perfect. So I'm gonna mount this one like this, weld it on, and then it'll be like a solid piece. So when if you kick your foot back, you won't get your foot in back there. So yeah. Okay guys, I got the plates welded in, one on both sides. So nice and strong. It ties in whole piece together. So yeah. So now it's one piece, and you just have to remove it with 4 bolts. So easy. And I've been working on over here. I welded on some angle iron, and I drilled 2 holes for the pill block bearing. And I supported in multiple different areas on the bottom and on the top side. And on this side, underneath, it'll weld it up to the frame, the stronger I can make it. And then I welded a big chunk of steel in here to make that all nice and strong. So it ties this even together even stronger as well. But yeah, I got that runner down with the hole drilled there, and that runner down with that holes drill. And we're just gonna bolt some 1/2 inch bolts with some 1 inch pill block bearings right on the side. I'm gonna go grease nipple up, then the water not gonna stay in, so something like that. And then we won't have the jack shaft going through right to the back side, but where I bolted almost. And then there should be enough room for us 2 sprockets and a. Okay guys, got the pill block bands in. One on this side, one on this side, so that would be nice and solid up there. So now I'm gonna get the shaft and shove it in there and see where everything. Okay guys, I got the shaft in there, well, the jack shaft. But yeah, I just put the sprocket on there just to see. I gotta get a different sprocket for this bottom one. It's at the wrong size. This is a 1 inch. And the output of the transmission is a 7/8, so gotta get a new hub for that. Yeah, but I think I'm gonna try to stick with the 12 tooth on the transmission and keep the 14 tooth on the jack shaft. And it gears it up a little bit, so to get a little higher speed going. Because we're gonna need the higher speed, because I got on the engine side, we got a 6" here and a 6" on the engine. So that's gonna be a 1-to-1 ratio right there. And this will be just a little bit higher than a 1-to-1. I don't know what it would be, but it'd be like 1.1, 1.2 with those couple gear teeth missing. But yeah, then it'll gear it up. Then it might do a little bit, because it going through the transmission, and you got to go 3.7 in the diffs. I forgot, but with it coming out of the output of the transmission into the differentials, they're going to gear it down even more. So we got to have this thing going the fastest it can get. I can try with those teeth, with these gears. There are tons of room for bigger gears, but like a bigger gear on the jack shaft, I can probably put a 20 or even a 24 up there on the jack shaft, and I don't want to go any smaller than a 12 on the transmission. So yeah, that's how we're going to be set up right now. I'm going to get a sprocket and I'll be back with you guys. Okay guys, just finished up the jack shaft. I carved some keyways in on both sides. They're just sitting in there loosely. So one side will have the 6-inch pulley, and the other side will have this 14-tooth sprocket. And I did pick up another sprocket at my place, and then this is a 14 tooth. Come on. A 14 tooth, and it slides on the 3/4 shaft coming out of the transmission. So yeah, now I'm gonna slide the jack shaft in and clamp it together. Okay guys, just looking at this, got it all done up. So it all spins nice. And on the front side, there's tons of room. There's enough room up here for a belt, so that's perfect. The frame will keep the belt on, but enough room to slip a belt through, so yeah. And on the back side, we got the sprocket on here with the collar, the locking collar on there. Yeah, I got this sprocket on. That gear oil is pretty thick in there right now. It is like +7, so yeah. But it all lined up perfect. Now I just gotta get a chain. I can adjust where oh my god. I can adjust where the jack shaft is just by putting like little spacers on the pill blocks, like washers, to bring it out a little bit if I need to, like tighten the chain or not. But yeah, I don't think I'm gonna test it by fitting a chain on it. And the chain size is a 41 chain. It's just like the biggest, widest chain you can get. So we're gonna be putting that on because this is gonna be putting out some power. I just didn't want to put a 50 series or anything. That's really overdoing it. A 50 series chain is a little bit much for 16 horsepower. If you got a big engine, then I say we can go up more. One size bigger chain, but I think this will be good. Because they're not going to be too much torque, it's just going to be speed. So I might get a O-ring chain as well, keep the oil in there. But yeah. Okay guys, I got the hood off. I got this pulley to go on and off nice. I know it's a little ugly, but it's going to be hidden away anyways. I got to put a bolt in here with a washer to keep this on. So this is a 6-inch out of 6-inch, but this is a deep set, so the belt rides inside a little tiny bit. So it's like a 5.5 on the inside. So I welded this plate on here, this 1/4-inch steel plate, onto the main chassis, and then I drilled a hole and I shoved this rod right through, and I welded it solid. But I got a pressed on a washer on here, so that's gonna be my clutch mount. And this is off a snowblower. Like got a really nice pulley on it, very quiet. I got bushings, like plastic bushings, so that slides under here, all nice, and that'll tension the belt in the right direction because the motor spins over like this, and you don't want to put it on the pole side where it's putting tension all the time. You want it to put it on the loose side. So down here, the loose side, yeah. And another thing with this arm, you want to put the arm pivot back here, not over here, because when the belt's going around like this, it's putting a lot of force this way too on the pulley. So you want it to pull down, not push on it. So yeah. It's gonna be riding about here where it's gonna be tensioned, but it can go all the way in or all the way out. So yeah, but I gotta put a key right here just to stop it from coming off or like moving side to side. But yeah, we did put a couple springs on it to keep it tensioned all the time. And I'm gonna go for the original look of the tractor, or the feel, where when you push in the clutch, and it'll disengage. It'll go this way, and when you let go of the clutch, it'll go in. to tension the belt, just like a normal lawnmower. Yeah, so that's so far I'm going to get. Right now I'm going to work on the pedal, I think, and then I got this cable set up. I got two cables from a snowblower, the heavy duty, and we used this bracket too. So I'm gonna mount one of these cables up in here so it can pull. It gotta go this way, so it gotta go that way. It gotta go around and then about right here to hook up to the clutch pedal right here. So yeah, that way are. Okay guys, came up with this design. Took like a 3/8 steel shaft, put it on there, welded it on, and then this is off a quad or a trike. It's a brake, so that slides right on there. Nice, and just put 2 washers on both sides and put a nice pin, cotter pin in there, and that'll work for a nice clutch. So it'll sit about there, and when you push it in, it'll go down about there. So up in here, I can just tie it into here, put a little mount up in here, and then yeah, nice and easy access if anything breaks. So that'll do the clutch mechanism, and it's away from the tire. There's no way that tire is ever going to hit up in here, even if I put 44s on it. But yeah, that should work for there, and then I'll run a cable from here. I'll snake it around the engine probably. Or I will snake it around this side and keep it away from the belt, because it gotta connect over here. It gotta pull down. So yeah, I'll snake it around somewhere. Okay guys, got the clutch assembly all hooked up. So we got the cable on. I got this mount here I welded on, and I got this bracket I welded on so you can bolt on the cable. And on this end we got I put on a little bracket to the main arm here, so I can put that I forgot what it's called, that lead piece on there. So that all hooked up, and it can pivot. And I got these stops I welded on here, so it can't go too far on both sides. So when you push down, you can only go down to about there, and then back up. And then I got the keyway, the clip in here, holding that all nice and tight. I got a shim in here, so like a bushing, I mean. Is that nice and tight in there? And on this side it comes around. I got it on the bracket. I got 2 springs on it right now because I need to get a bigger spring, but that'll work for now. But yeah, just welded on a little bracket there, and that's how it works. And it bolts on right here. So when you hit the clutch with your foot, oh, I can't. It's hard to show because I got it nice and tight, but yeah, it got me running about probably like that one there, and it can go even more if I adjust it. But yeah, that will work. That will work for now. I just got to tie this cable up. Got to tie it up about here, away from the pulley and away from the muffler, so I'll tie it up about here so it won't get into anything. Okay guys, got the chain. So what I'm using is about 10 inches of 40 series chain, and we're going to be using a half link, and we're using a master link to link it together. Okay guys, got the master link in and the half link, and it spins pretty nice. So yeah, we're going to let that sit there, and then we're going to work on putting on the belt now, as I did pick up a 40 series belt, a B40, so yeah, we're going to be using that. Okay guys, got the belt on nice and tight. I decided to change the layout So I welded the tab with the cable down here. So it runs down and around and back up. Then I mounted the springs lower down. I made this whole bracket and welded that on. So it lowered down so it would get more tension. Because I wanted some more tension on that belt. And I can adjust it as well. So, yeah. Fully released, fully tightened. I gotta put a couple guide thing, like pins, to hold the belt there. So it will come off. The belt need to come off this pulley. You need to kind of like the belt got to raise up here a little tiny bit when you release the clutch. And I got to put a guide pin down here to hold it so it doesn't release off that one. Yeah, but other than that, it's pretty much ready for a startup and test how the transmission and that works. The drive shafts are not connected yet, but that'll be the next thing. Same with that. Okay, guys, got a couple supports on, just to keep the belt on the bottom. Don't want to ever have it to fall off. But the only way to get the belt off now is just to undo the pulley a little bit and slide it out and put the new belt on. Not too big a deal, but yeah. Hey guys, working on the exhaust system today. I took off the original muffler over here, the all cast iron outtake, and then this is pretty heavy too, the muffler itself. So I made this one up, some 3/8 plate steel, cut out some holes, drill a big 1.5-inch hole, and then shove the pipe in and weld it all around, nice and solid. And it slides on pretty nice, like very secure. So put some bolts in. I'm gonna chop it somewhere around here. I just need this 30-degree bend. Chop it somewhere about here. Then add on another 90-degree out of some more exhaust tubing. And they're gonna go straight down, and then another 90 somewhere down here, and then out to the back. Okay guys, got some of the exhaust done. Got this all welded up in here, nice and solid. It goes down here to an N90, and it goes out that way. That nice and solid, all welded up. They're not pre-welds, but it's not gonna leak. It's gonna be nice and solid. Then I got this piece of pipe, which is a little tiny bit bigger than this one. It'll slide right on there. I can put a clamp, 1.5-inch clamp on there, and that will take us back here. And it's gonna be off the frame just like 1/4 inch. So it's gonna come out back here, and then from here, I'm gonna have a 30-degree up, another 30-degree. I'm gonna cut this pipe here, weld that onto there, so like this, then up, and then like this, and then it goes straight into this muffler I got. So yeah, this muffler is from a 450, so it should be fine for the 420 engine. It all have a dirt bike, so yeah. I'm gonna get this. Okay guys, just got it done. So we got the disconnect coupling here. I'm gonna put a 1/2-inch clamp for there, 1.5 inches, and that runs back here. I got some of the holes plugged up. I know it's not beautiful, but yeah. So we got a 30-degree angle up here. It comes up, another 30-degree, and that goes into the exhaust, and I just welded it on. I didn't want it falling off, and that nice and solid. I gotta make a couple brackets for it There's a bracket for the muffler I want to make, and then there's a bracket for this pipe. I want to bolt it to this so it's easy to take off. And then I want to make a bracket for up here to tie this muffler to the frame. Then they're not like supporting all on here. This whole piece won't be supporting just on the motor. So yeah, made a couple brackets up, but I want to start the thing up and see what it sounds like with. Sweet. So yeah, that's all hooked up, and they're gonna make some mounts so it can't rotate, and clamp that over there, and then the exhaust system is done. Okay guys, I know it look a little bit different, but we moved the machine back into my garage to work on it more. So we did get the Echo mounts hooked up to the exhaust system. They're bolted up there, and I'm gonna clamp up here holding the muffler. So that's all hooked up. But yeah, on a call for this video, we got a lot done. Next video, I want to hook up the shorter axle tubes for that differential. We're going to hook up these two drive shafts, make them longer with square tubing so it can go in and out. And we're going to make a battery box or battery holder to hook up, I think, under the hood somewhere if we can fit it. Hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. In the next episode, this thing will be running finally. Hope you guys enjoy. Bye bye.